The X Zone Radio Show with Rob McConnell is largely an opinion talk show. All opinions, comments, or statements of fact expressed by Rob McConnell's guests are strictly their own and are not to be construed as those of the X Zone Radio Show or endorsed in any manner by Rob McConnell, rel-mar McConnell Media Company, the X Zone Broadcast Network, its affiliated networks, stations, employees, or advertisers.
All Hit Radio.
Welcome to the X Zone, a place where fact is fiction and fiction is reality. Now, here's your host, Rob McConnell.
And welcome back, everyone. This is the X Zone. I am Rob McConnell, coming to you from our broadcast center and studios in Hamilton, Ontario, Canada. If you'd like to send me an email, xzone at xzoneradiotv.com, on all social media sites, Xzone Radio TV. And to find out about the programming we have available for you 24/7, 365 on the X Zone Broadcast Network, www.xzbn.net. And on Simul TV, Yeah, you've got it, simultv.com. My guest this hour is a young lady we've had the pleasure of having on the show before. We're talking about my favorite topic tonight, this hour here in the X Zone. My guest is Carol Blackburn, and we're going to be talking about angels, amongst other things. And Carol, welcome back to the X Zone. Always great talking to you. How have you been, my friend?
I've been very well, thank you. It's lovely to speak with you again.
Carol, for our listeners who may not have had the opportunity of listening or hearing you before when you've been on the X Zone, can you tell them a little bit about yourself?
Yes, I work as an angel intuitive counselor, and I work as a teacher of spirituality and mysticism. So I help people to connect with their own guardian angels and their own divine family, the ones that walk with them and protect them and help them with their journey. And I also teach people how to connect with spirit and to study, as I said, the different aspects of spirituality, meditation, prayer, contemplation, and the various things that can help us with all of those things.
In today's society, that is totally upside down, inside out, thrown up against the wall and back. I would imagine that the angels are very busy these days.
Extremely busy, and from what I understand from the angels, it's going to become even busier. I understand from Spirit as we come into September, things are going to be speeding up again and accelerating more. One of the things that the angels are talking to us about now is it's so important for us to be well grounded, which means to meditate and feel like your root chakra, yourself reaching into the earth and really holding on. The events will be, in some cases, I understand, quite cataclysmic, and it can be in one's personal life as well as in the greater picture. If we are working with spirit, it helps us to stay sort of in the eye of the storm or the center of the river, to stay calm and be away from the shore where we would get battered. The river representing the emotional body and that aspect. So we are guided by the angels that through prayer and meditation on a daily basis to be really rigorous about this. We deepen our connection with them, and as we give them permission, they must have permission, they can help us to make things easier to bear or sometimes change them completely. They claim, and I have found this to be true, that they can do 85% of our heavy lifting, the heavy things for us, but all along the way we must give permission.
Why this increase? Why are these extraordinarily high percentages of cataclysmic events happening? Is there any reason behind that, Carol?
Well, it's in part cyclical. If we look at the Mayan people, they kept records of centuries of cataclysmic events. I believe this is the fifth one that we're coming into. It's a time cycle and a life cycle. I understand energetically that right now the sun has interesting and different activity, and the Mayans explained that the last time that this happened, there was an increase in infertility, birth defects. There was like a tremendous drought through the Yucatan area and that kind of thing. It affected them greatly. These are the cycles, but these energies also change us as humanity. The last time we were in a similar cycle to this, from what I understand, was when we went through the American and French Revolution. Similar energies are upon the earth right now because, again, we are in a place where there's such huge differences in the stratas of society, and there's so much suffering right now. But if we look around and look sort of through the mist, we can also see that there's this great gathering of beauty, of love, and the angels are helping us with that, and they would love to help us more with that. They will help us to bring in these beautiful changes that we want, just where we can live in a peaceful manner. Most people are pretty satisfied with and happy with a good home, nice transportation, a happy, healthy family, occasionally getting to travel and see the world, pleasure in life. Most of us don't have abundant greed. We really all want these simple but beautiful things, right?
I agree.
It's such a struggle, and the angels want us to bring that balance in, and so they do require us. For a long time, Spirit said to us it's okay to just walk in the gray and not be black or white. But on November the 11th, 2011, there was a great schism brought to us, and Spirit said to us at the time, you can no longer walk in the gray and pretend you can't see. You have to declare what you're standing for, and you have to stand up for it. So as where before we were not being pushed at the angel circles or the different clients, they were told, get ready, start to prepare, blah, blah. Not blah, blah, but in nicer words than that. And then now it is take action. If you see suffering, respond. If you need to open a door for someone, open the door. Answer with a smile. Give a prayer. Give money or a hand where you can. But be proactive. Use our voice for good, because this is what we need to create in this world.
Be part of the solution and not part of the problem.
Exactly right. And all of us are responsible for this. There's no one that's not.
Well, what does it say in the Bible? You are your brother's keeper.
Absolutely. Yeah. And it's all about love.
Yep.
This is what we need to go towards, to be, to express. And if we are confused about what we must do, sit quietly and say, what would love do? Remembering that love is kind and compassionate and caring and giving.
When was the very first time that you had, I don't want to use the word encounter, but the first time that you met an angel?
For me, it was in a dream. And I had been praying. I had actually been praying to Jesus in church. I had gone back to church for a little while, but then left. But I asked a few good questions while I was there.
That's so
and
good.
When I was asking Yeshua, I said, who are you? What are you? Who am I? What's the soul? What are we here for? What's my purpose? I was so frustrated. And the first thing he did was send me the angels. And for many that are Roman Catholic, they already know Mother Mary as the Queen of Angels.
That's right.
I'm an Anglican, so it's not quite like that. But Yeshua is the King of Angels. And so the first entities he sent was an angel, singular. It was Archangel Michael. But I did not know who he was at the time. I just knew he was somebody incredibly powerful. He appeared in human form in my dream. And he showed me that if I followed him, my life would change forever and become abundantly beautiful. So I chose to follow him that moment. And I've continued to do so ever since, because he's a really good guy to hang out with. And he'd like to hang out with everybody.
There you go. And so are the angels. As you and I have talked before, Carol, I on my show, over the last 28 years, we're going on 29 years, I've talked about UFOs, I've talked about Bigfoot, aliens, Loch Ness Monster, and the list goes on and on and on. And I can honestly say that I don't believe, because I've seen no proof. I'm the kind of guy who needs to see proof. I'm an ex-cop. You just can't go into court and say, well, I really didn't see it, but I think that doesn't work. But when it comes to angels, I know from first-hand experience that they are real.
Will you tell us how that is?
I will. I'll give you a little bit of a teaser here. In fact, what I'm going to do is I'm going to wait till we get back from this break, because I don't want to have to break it up. But all I will tell you is, right now, I saw an angel when I was young.
Oh, that's wonderful.
In fact, you came to mind 2-3 weeks ago, because you once told me when you were on the show, all you need to do is believe and ask the angels for help, and they will be there. And I did. And when we come back from this commercial break, I'm going to tell you that I have no doubt whatsoever that angels are real.
Oh, that is awesome.
All right, Carol, please stand by. X Zone Nation, Carol Blackburn is my special guest this hour. A fellow Montrealer, I might say with pride. And if you'd like to find out more about Carol, visit her online at www.inonement.com. That's INONEMENT.com. And we're talking about angels this hour here on the X Zone, my favorite subject. And when we come back, like I told Carol and those of you listening tonight, I will tell you why I believe beyond a shadow of a doubt that angels are real. This is the X Zone. I am Rob McConnell. Don't go away. Whether you're a skeptic or a believer, join me, Rob McConnell, as together we'll investigate the world of the paranormal and the science of parapsychology here on the X Zone Radio TV show on XZBN and the X Zone TV channel on Simul TV. Since 1990, the X Zone Radio TV show has been the place where people dare to believe and dare to be heard. Together, we'll investigate UFOs, aliens, ghosts, Bigfoot, psychic phenomenon, lake monsters, conspiracy theories, government cover-ups, the truth embargo, alien abductions, ESP, haunted locations from around the world, and so much more. With over 28 years of broadcasting and more than 4,500 individual guests, the X Zone is truly a place where fact is fiction and fiction is reality, as evidenced by the credibility, integrity, and professionalism of the guests that we bring to our international audience. If you have seen a UFO, had a close encounter, seen a ghost, Bigfoot, lake monster, or a story that you would like to share or have investigated, contact me, Rob McConnell, by sending me your email to xzone@xzoneradiotv.com, or you can call toll-free 1-800-610-7035, extension 143, and on Skype, X Zone Radio TV. For more information on the X Zone Radio TV show with yours truly, Rob McConnell, visit www.xzoneradiotv.com or www.xzonetvchannel.com or simultv.com and xzbn.net. Until next we meet here in the X Zone from our broadcast center and studios in Hamilton, Ontario, Canada, always remember, X Zone Nation, keep your eyes to the sky and your heart in the light.
You have heard of the X Zone? Now watch it on Simul TV, plus 500 video games, live TV channels, free video on demand, worldwide, and more. Does this sound like tomorrow's television? Well, it is, but you can have it today, right now. It is Simul TV. Simul TV offers what the others only wish they could provide. 15 exclusive channels like X Zone, sci-fi, and horror. We are worldwide. No other provider offers that. 500 built-in video games. No need to have an extra expensive system. We have them included. Free video on demand. Live streaming events from around the world. Interactive online network and much more. Tomorrow's TV today. Simul TV. Sound too good to be true? Well, it's not. You can have Simul TV today. Sign up at simultv.com. Do it today.
Welcome back, everyone. Carol Blackburn is my special guest this hour. We're talking about angels, and Carol's website is www.inonement.com. That's www.inonement.com. As I've said before, X-Zone Nation, when it comes to UFOs, when it comes to aliens, when it comes to Roswell, when it comes to ghost hauntings, things that go bump in the night, and every other topic that I've talked about here in the X-Zone over the past 28 years on air, I'm a skeptic. Because I want to believe, but I want the proof. And when it comes to angels, I've got the proof. I have the proof. I've seen an angel. And this goes back, Carol, when I was very young. I lived in Park Extension with my family. We lived on Danvers Avenue near Wiseman. And back then, baby food came in tin cans. And the technology and safety surrounding tin cans wasn't as well known as it is today. And my mom fed my baby brother, who's younger than I am by 4 years, some baby food. To make a long story short, my brother got very sick. They had to rush him to the hospital, but on the way to the hospital, they dropped me off at my grandmother's house, which was just down the street, Wiseman, St. Roch. While there, my grandmother, who was the hub of the family, called up all the family. The all family comes down because it didn't look good for my baby brother. I was in the kitchen with my grandmother, and I happened to look at the corner where the walk-in pantry was, and there was somebody that I didn't know. It was a man. He had a beard. He had the bluest blue eyes I've ever seen in my life. He was wearing, I believe, a white robe, and he looked at me and he smiled. And I smiled back, and my grandmother said, "Who are you smiling at? What are you smiling at? You know, everybody's somber, and there I am smiling." And I said, "That man over," and when I pointed to where he wasn't. Just as this happened, the phone rang, and it was my mother from the hospital saying my baby brother was going to be all right.
Wow.
Okay?
That is so beautiful.
Then, this is when I remembered something, what you told me the last time you were on the show. This was 3-4 weeks ago. We have a little pup. Well, she's not a little pup. She's 4 years old. Her name is Lola. She is a Shih Tzu.
Okay.
And Shih Tzus have a hereditary problem with their back. And her back was swollen. It was out. She couldn't walk. She wouldn't eat. We brought her to the vet, and the vet said, "The only thing I can do is make her comfortable." Well, my wife and I decided that if Lola wasn't any better by the weekend, we would see what the doctor would do. It wasn't looking very good for Lola.
Oh.
Then I remembered my angels. And I remembered what you told me. And I said, "Angels, I don't know if you can help my little dog. She's never done anything wrong to anybody. She brings a lot of people a lot of joy. Can you help? Please." The next day, I'm sitting in a restaurant. And for some unknown reason, I go on the internet and I'm looking at Shih Tzus, this, that, and the other thing. And I get the feeling that I should go to this page. I don't even know why I'm going there. I'm waiting for my wife. And here was this entire scenario about Shih Tzus throwing their backs out. The first thing they don't want to do is eat. The next thing they don't want to do is move around. The next thing they don't want to do is socialize because they're taking care of themselves. They don't want drugs.
That makes sense.
Leave them alone. And I'm reading this and I'm getting goosebumps.
That's a good sign.
Like I'm saying, woohoo. Tim, and to me, there may be people listening saying, it was coincidence. You want to call it coincidence? You go right ahead.
Yeah.
But I, the night before, asked the angels for help. I never bring my cell phone into a restaurant. I did that time.
Yeah.
Little Lola, 4 weeks after that little close call, is fine. She's not 100%, but she's 75, 80% better. And I thank the angels.
And they say you're welcome. You did beautifully there. You went with that whisper that they give us, that hint, that nudge that is you can't really describe it. It's just that you just have a feeling. It's like when you're walking down a street, you intend to go left and you just suddenly go right and you run into somebody you love.
Yeah.
It's just that kind of energy. And the more that we attune to those happenings and say thank you and recognize it for what it is, the more they come. It will increase and increase. And when you pray for another creature, no matter what creature that is, and you pray with love, the angels will come and they will do their best. Sometimes the answers we're given are not the answers we want.
Right.
But they are the answers that are coming. You did so beautifully with that. And when you were describing the angel in the corner with your little brother, my first go-to would have been Archangel Raphael, because he's the archangel of healing. So that would not be pretty normal, but the description of him didn't quite gel. But who I'm told he was Archangel Raziel. And I love Archangel Raziel. He's full of mischief, and he is the archangel of mysticism and spirituality, and he's the one who brings us things in our dreams. So he's a lot of fun, and when he shows himself to me clothed and in humanoid form, he wears what we would consider a wizard's cap and a gown that looks like the universe, but it's alive and it's moving. It's quite spectacular. And this is where I believe we get the idea of a wizard is actually from Raziel. And that's where it's become our stereotype, like in various wizard movies and that. But Archangel Raziel, he's present for you now as well. And he is guiding you that this is time for you to increase your studies and your connection to the angelic realm.
That was many years ago. Like that was over 55 years ago.
Never too late.
and what I do is I remember so vividly his eyes. And
there's so much love, right?
And the feeling of love that overwhelmed me, that I don't think there's anything I could have done except smile.
Yeah. It's so good.
Yeah.
And it reminds us of where we actually come from and where we're heading back. But we've come here to do specific things, and this is a challenging place. But our job is to meet each incident with as much grace as we possibly can. Those that are good as well as bad. There's nothing worse than a sore winner.
Sure. That's true.
It's not good either way. So it's always about just whatever we have, accept it as a gift of the creation. Bless it and thank it. And if someone is in a great deal of turmoil and having a great deal of problems, it's suggested that we sit back and look at the patterns in our life and see if that situation keeps arising in a different way. And if it is, there's a core lesson there for us. And if we can't figure it out, we can ask the angels. They'll be glad to help us. And Archangel Michael is the go-to guy for that. And he can help us to discover the things in ourselves that require healing, that require the light. And for a lot of people that are hurting and in pain, part of that pain is because no one hears their story. Everyone needs to be heard. We all require that. And the angels can give us ears when there's not a person around to give that to us. It's a deep relationship, and you're quite right, they're real. They're a separate species from us, and they were designed and created at the exact same time our souls were. We are to work with them as well as with the nature spirits, which you could think of as the angels of the earth. And we are guided to work with both realms deeply and with haste, because that will help us to bring back balance to the Mother Earth. We can help to bring healing to her body, which she so richly deserves. And when we do that, we are bringing healing to ourselves. Of course, we're not separate from her. We're her children, and we're on her body, so we need to take care of it.
We're not doing a very good job of that, are we?
Not so far, but like things, we, as the collective humans, the ones that are in the light, and it doesn't mean that we spend every moment of our day in purity or anything. We're human. We're up and down, and we're all around. But our basic core is decent. And I believe that with my whole heart and soul. It always has been. We are told to be very careful about materialism. And materialism was what got us here in the first place, because we helped to create this reality. We would come in soul spirit, and you could feel how it was to be a tree or an animal, etc. And we became more trained with that. We love the material world. We love the earth, the leaves. And it's not just this material world. There's so many other realms that exist. So we became more and more entrained and forgot who we are, which is a droplet of our Creator.
Carol, I hate to do this, but we've got to take a break. Please stand by, my dear. Exonation, our guest this hour is Carol Blackburn. Her website is www.inonement.com. That's www.inonement.com. And listen, if you're a skeptic about angels, send me an email, exonradiotv.com. It's that plain, it's that simple. I may not believe in aliens, I may not believe in ghosts, I may not believe in a lot of other things because I haven't seen the evidence, but I'll tell you one thing, Exo Nation. I've seen an angel, and I believe. We'll be back on the other side of this break. Don't go away.
From our broadcast studios in Hamilton, Ontario, Canada, to the world and beyond, you're watching the X-Zone Broadcast Network, www.xzbn.net.
AVS Media Den.
You have heard of the X-Zone? Now watch it on Simul TV, plus 500 video games, live TV channels, free video on demand, worldwide, and more. Does this sound like tomorrow's television? Well, it is, but you can have it today, right now. It is Simul TV. Simul TV offers what the others only wish they could provide. 15 exclusive channels like X-Zone, Sci-Fi, and Horror. We are worldwide. No other provider offers that. 500 built-in video games. No need to have an extra expensive system. We have them included. Free video on demand. Live streaming events from around the world. Interactive online network, and much more. Tomorrow's TV today. Simul TV. Sound too good to be true? Well, it's not. You can have Simul TV today. Sign up at simultv.com. Do it today.
Did you know that when you're on the road with limited data or Wi-Fi, you can still listen to the X-Zone Radio Show with Rob McConnell, The Science of Magic with Gwilda Wiyaka, X-1, Dimension X, Space Patrol, and every minute of the X-Zone Broadcast Network by calling 213-401-0080, courtesy of Audio Now. No smartphone, app, or internet needed. It saves your data plan, and it's free if you have unlimited minutes. Call 213-401-0080 to listen on any phone, anytime, anywhere. Remember, 213-401-0080 for the best of the paranormal, parapsychology, and sci-fi radio programming anywhere, 24/7, 365. Rob McConnell here, presenting an overview for Nicholas Paul Jennings, author of a fascinating book, Amen. It presents facts revealed by Egyptologists, facts that enable us to understand why Amen is the beginning of creation of God.
It provides recommendations for religious leaders of the major religions to unify their beliefs and teach the Word of God. Love one another. Amen informs people how mankind conceived God. It was the Egyptians that developed the concepts of a soul, a hereafter, and Son of God. And finally, after the worship of many gods, they conceived the belief in one universal God, the maker of all there is. For more information, visit www.futureofgodamen.com. That's www.futureofgodamen.com.
Carol Blackburn is my special guest, X-Zone Nation. Her website is www.inonement.com. And Carol, always great having you on the show.
Thank you so much. Always great to be here.
Thanks, dear. How does one know when they're in a dream and they dream of angels? How do they know, or should they even think about the possibility that they might just be having a dream with a precognitive suggestion given to them sometime during the day? Or should they accept it that whether it's a suggestion or not, the angels are there?
I would go with that. The angels are there. One of the things that they like to do is to work with us in our dreams. Particularly if you don't have a regular practice of meditation, because once you have that, then you're able to hear them and communicate with them quite clearly and easily. But before we get to that stage, through our dreams is one of their favorite ways to do it. So if you have a dream where you were recalling anything, I really encourage people to write it down right away. Don't even turn on a light. Just guide your hand with your other hand, and when you wake up in the morning, things will come back to you probably. You can set that intention. But whatever they send you, if they send you a color, look into the spiritual meaning of the color, correlate it to your chakra for sure, and try to incorporate that color into your life and acknowledge that color. Everything that they speak to us in dreams is in symbolic language. That is the language of angels. So the study of symbolism is extremely helpful. So in the dream, if they give you a sacred geometry symbol, it would behoove you to go and find out what that is. They give us gifts all along the way, and as we understand them and can integrate the information, then they will give us the next one. So the more determined and more engaged we are with our relationship with them, the more full-on it is. And as I said before, you have to give them permission, but you can also ask them things like, please become my friend. I would like to know your presence. Please bring me proof. And I, like you, am a person who requires proof, especially in this world, in this day and age. Yeah. I think I want proof for everything. And one of the things that we are guided to by Spirit is they understood that this would be an information age where we are just bombarded, including me. I'm another voice in all these millions of voices telling you what to believe. But what I teach and what they teach through me is that for each of us to take responsibility, learn how to meditate, pray, and contemplate effectively, create your own relationship with the voice within us. That is where you will be steered correctly. You will be connecting with the Creator's energy and light. The angels can help us to do this.
I've always learned, or I've always believed, that the best way to listen is with the heart.
That's perfect. Yeah. You feel with your heart and also with your belly. So consider both of those when you're developing your skills in communication, because they will continue to speak to you. That's like your intuition comes in through those two places. And it's, as a police officer, I'm sure you used your intuition a great deal. Many times. Exactly. So you actually are ahead of a lot of guys because you already are in touch with what is considered a feminine aspect of humanity. But it's an incredibly important one because it helps us to stay safe. And it helps us to know and avoid people that are trying to take advantage, because unfortunately at this time, And in the work I do, there are a lot of people that are charlatans. So we must be aware and awake. But if it clenches your stomach or your heart, step away and take a good look at it. If it feels open and expansive, if you get goosebumps, that's a good sign. You want to connect with that. That means you've hit something. And when you hit it, get it and celebrate it, be joyful. And it, just as I said, will bring you more.
The majority of police officers that I had the pleasure of working with over the years would always talk about that gut feeling they had prior to something happening that either led them to discover something or led them to safety or led them to that arrest. So, when it comes to gut feelings, when you're a cop, you rely on them because they're a very important asset and tool to anybody in law enforcement.
Absolutely. And did you know that Archangel Michael is the archangel of police officers?
I think I did. I think I did know that.
Because he takes care of all those of us who are in service, whether we're a light worker, a police officer, soldiers, like that. So it's kind of cool. And that you guys are attuning to him because he's with you. He walks with people that give service this way.
Well, he was the best car partner I ever had.
Oh, you betcha. And the thing is, what's wonderful about Michael is he'd like to be everybody's best friend, and he can do that. He's remarkable. And I have so many clients that have developed such a deep, wonderful relationship with him. And then what he does is once you get really good and comfortable with him, he'll introduce you to somebody else. And you're ready for your next phase of learning. But it's all exciting and interesting and beautiful. Sometimes very challenging.
So instead of playing pass the buck, they play pass the human.
Yes, they do. And sometimes I've been somewhat reluctant because I have an attachment disorder. I love people deeply and creatures deeply, and I hate letting go. They're working on that with me. It's good to be able to let go.
Carol,
you want to be able to do that.
Yeah. Carol, in today's disposable society, people come in your life and they go in your life. Fortunately for me, I've been very blessed to the people who've come into my life have stayed in my life. But I look at my friends and they go through relationships like there's no tomorrow. And there are so many people who have broken hearts, hurt, and pain. What can the angels do to help a broken heart?
I would connect with Archangel Raphael immediately. He is the archangel of love, of healing, and vibration. If you give him permission to heal you and help a person to release the pain, I would also work with Archangel Michael and make sure that there's not, what I was mentioning before, a repetitive pattern. Let's say somebody has consistently abusive boyfriends. There's something you want to heal there within yourself before you get back into another relationship, because you're just going to draw the same experience until you get the lesson. Michael helps with that, and he helps us to release things that no longer work for us and to release people, pain. And Raphael brings the healing, and he can also help our hearts to open up again to accepting love. Because often when we're hurt, especially if it's repeated, it's not abnormal that our heart starts to put shields around it left, right, and center. So what we need to do in order to draw and attract the people we would like to have in our life, our heart requires to be open. And something that Spirit was very clear with me, because I often work with people with broken hearts, and it's been quite miraculous to watch what happens. But Spirit is always very clear that if you are praying for a healthy, happy relationship, you must be healthy and happy yourself. We attract what we are. We attract our resonance. Like they say, birds of a feather flock together.
Right.
So until we heal that which is broken, we will continue to bring the unfortunate message, and it will come in bigger and bigger until we acknowledge it.
I would imagine.
In some cases, overall.
I would imagine, Carol, there are people who expect the angels to do all the work for them, and they just sit back and say, "Okay, angels, help." But don't these people also have to help themselves to make things happen?
Absolutely. It's a combination. They'll let you know when there's stuff that's not for you to do. And if we sit and we listen, they'll say, no, we'll take care of that. And you'll find, like, let's say you're really overburdened, you have too many appointments and that, so you ask the angels for help. Well, then somebody will call you and say, look, can I postpone and re-meet or at another time? Something else happens, your transportation changes, it all will fall into place, and you're like, oh, suddenly I have all the room I needed. So you're not doing anything except asking for help with that. But there's other things that you're absolutely required to do for yourself, and the spiritual growth part is on us. And they can't do that. And there's sometimes people believe that we're not responsible for our sins or our karma. We can give it away to another entity like Jesus or Kuan Yin or Buddha. But that's not true either. It's very clear we're each of us responsible for our own doings, our own karma, if you will. It's a perfect way to express that. So there's not another entity that's going to come in and die for our sins or take up what you have sown. Each of us must reap what we have sown, whether it is for heavy and evil or for good and beauty. The more we create of good and beauty, that becomes more and more of the resonance of who we are and the world that we are experiencing. This is why each of us is being asked by the angels to become at one with yourself. Love yourself, because first you love yourself, then you are fully capable of loving others fully.
Right.
Fully. Otherwise, we don't necessarily love them completely. We'll judge them, etc., etc.
Carol, stand by, my dear. You and I have to take our final break. And Exo Nation, if you'd like to contact Carol, her website is www.inonement.com, and that's www.inonement.com. And we'll both be back on the other side of this break as we wrap up this hour here in the X Zone from our broadcast center in Hamilton, Ontario, Canada. Don't forget, you can always get the complimentary online edition of the X Chronicles newspaper simply by going to www.xchroniclesnewspaper.com. I'm Rob McConnell. Carol Blackburn and I will be back on the other side of this break. Don't go away.
Of the X Zone? Now watch it on Simul TV, plus 500 video games, live TV channels, free video on demand, worldwide, and more. Does this sound like tomorrow's television? Well, it is, but you can have it today, right now. It is Simul TV. Simul TV offers what the others only wish they could provide. 15 exclusive channels like X Zone, sci-fi, and horror. We are worldwide. No other provider offers that. 500 built-in video games. No need to have an extra expensive system. We have them included. Free video on demand. Live streaming events from around the world. Interactive online network, and much more. Tomorrow's TV today. Simul TV. Sound too good to be true? Well, it's not. You can have Simul TV today. Sign up at simultv.com. Do it today.
Whether you're a skeptic or a believer, join me, Rob McConnell, as together we'll investigate the world of the paranormal and the science of parapsychology here on the X Zone Radio TV show on XZBN and the X Zone TV channel on Simul TV. Since 1990, the X Zone Radio TV show has been the place where people dare to believe and dare to be heard. Together, we'll investigate UFOs, aliens, ghosts, Bigfoot, psychic phenomena, lake monsters, conspiracy theories, government cover-ups, the truth embargo, alien abductions, ESP, haunted locations from around the world, and so much more. With over 28 years of broadcasting and more than 4,500 individual guests, the X Zone is truly a place where fact is fiction and fiction is reality, as evidenced by the credibility, integrity, and professionalism of the guests that we bring to our international audience. If you have seen a UFO, had a close encounter, seen a ghost, Bigfoot, lake monster, or a story that you would like to share or have investigated, contact me, Rob McConnell, by sending me your email to xzone@xzoneradiotv.com, or you can call toll-free 1-800-610-7035, extension 143, and on Skype, X-Zone Radio TV. For more information on the X-Zone Radio TV show with yours truly, Rob McConnell, visit www.xzoneradiotv.com or www.xzonetvchannel.com or simultv.com and xzbn.net. Until next we meet here in the X-Zone from our broadcast center and studios in Hamilton, Ontario, Canada, always remember, X-Zone Nation, keep your eyes to the sky and your heart in the light. Carol Blackburn is my guest. Her website is www.inonement.com. That's www.inonement.com. First of all, Carol, always great having you on the show. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you very much for having me.
And you and I were talking off air during the last commercial break, and you were telling me that you were going to send me a story, and after you gave me a little bit of the story, I said, oh no, we've got to talk about this on air. So go ahead.
Okay. About 10 years ago, I was doing some Christmas shopping in a local mall, and there was a pop-up shop that opened just for Christmas season. And when I went to the cash, the lady at the cash, I had noticed her when I came in because she was quite striking to me. She had dark hair. She would be in my age, 40s, 50s, depending on when. She had green eyes, and she was very, very attractive. Anyway, she had attracted my attention. When I went to the cash, just out of the blue, she said to me, you know, I grew up in Montreal, and I grew up facing where the Olympic Stadium is now. And she said, when I was a young girl, my mother was a single mother. We were living alone in an apartment, and about 3 o'clock in the morning or in the middle of the night, she said there was suddenly this massive, bright light. She said, we went to the window, and when we opened the curtains, there was a huge, giant spaceship close to where the Olympic Stadium currently is. There was a big field there. She said it was unbelievable. They all went outside, the neighbors and everything. She said they were all picked up later and told that they were absolutely not allowed to discuss it in any way, shape, or form. And that, you know, so they just went on with their lives, but it was such an extraordinary experience. And I was like kind of blown away when I left because, you know, to hear that,
sure.
I'd never heard anything about that. I grew up in Montreal. When I got home, I told my children's father that what this lady had told me, and he said, oh my goodness, he said, my ex-girlfriend, she saw the same thing.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, do you have goosebumps?
But let me ask you this. Why did she tell you?
I think because I was asking Spirit at the time, like I have seen different things in the sky and that, but now I wonder too, with the technology that we have, it could just be things that they created themselves. But Spirit was guiding me that yes, indeed, there are extraterrestrials, and yes, indeed, they have visited and will continue to do so. But whether they come or not, we're still responsible for our own stuff.
You know, I was reading something that you sent us, and it says that you attended an angel blessing circle. What is that?
Oh, well, I give them now, too.
Yes.
What we have is a guided angel meditation circle. And what they have trained me to do, by they I mean the angels, is to hold open a portal. We do a short meditative process that increases our vibration because we need to be in a higher vibration in order to attune to the angelic realm. So we do this, and then they have trained me to hold open a portal, and we go into the angelic realm, and we've been taken in many, many different places. Sometimes we just receive energy there and healing. People have told me that they've had miraculous healings at the circles, and that's why they've continued to come back. So I don't usually know how people are affected, of course, unless they tell me. But what we do receive and see is like the angelic realm. They are very generous, and they welcome us into it. Occasionally people who are pretty advanced in their studies of spirituality will start to see what I'm describing before I describe it. This is because they're beside me on the journey and they're watching as well. What I describe, and believe me, I speak through the whole thing, and it's an hour and a half to 2 hours, I am describing what I am seeing. I'm not imagining it and bringing it forth. I'm not that quick. So it's quite extraordinary experience, and it's one that I feel extremely blessed to be able to take people on. But it can be very life-changing because you touch their energy and you find out it's real. People are always changed and empowered by it. I can say that.
Do the angels change their appearance when they manifest to people, or do they maintain the same appearance?
What they do is they will give us a pretty standardized view of them. Like Archangel Michael, you will see his images of him, and it's pretty typical, his height and everything. But they can appear as anything. So they can come to you in different ways. They will often come through, like Archangel Gabriel, for example, she will come to me as a cardinal bird. So if I see a cardinal come up to my window and persist singing until I go over and say hello, then I know there's more to it. There's something that in my communication I either need to pay attention to something more, or there's a truth I need to speak, depending. And the Archangel Michael, if I hear a blue jay or see a blue jay, I often know that that's him calling.
Fascinating.
Yeah, it's very interesting. They will communicate with us in the ways that we can most easily associate with.
Are the angels more attuned to children than they are to adults?
No. Children are more attuned to angels than adults are. That's the difference.
Why is that?
Because when we're little, we're innocent, and we haven't had people tell us, no, that's not real. That's just a myth. It's a fairy tale. And so we accept that. But if you're a person who's highly intuitive or an empath, or you have any of that shine going on, then that can be very confusing because you are seeing things and they are real. We're lucky in a way, we're blessed now because we are becoming more open towards these things about the development of the psychic abilities. It's natural, it's supposed to happen. And we're heading towards this happening for more and more people. One of the things by coming to the angel meditation circles, whenever one attends that, your third eye opens, your third eye chakra opens more fully. And when the third eye chakra is opened, this is when we can see, hear, sense, feel, or know the presence of the angels, creator, the saints, whoever that you're, communicating with and attuning to. The angels are an excellent place to start. They are just massively loving, and basically show up in every culture and every religion around the world. They might be called something other than angels, but when they describe them, they're doing the same thing. And they've been with us since the very beginning. They're our partners.
I don't know if it's still there, but I remember as a young child going to Windsor Station, and there used to be a bronze statue in the middle of the station of an angel carrying a fallen soldier.
I remember that, yeah.
Yeah, and that image will always stay with me because it was so awe-inspiring that here you have this fallen soldier, and yet you have the angel who's come down to help him.
It's such a beautiful thing, and I think that gives comfort to those who have lost their beloved ones. Yeah. Have you ever heard the story of World War I when there was a terrific battle and the Allies we were just getting hammered, and the Germans would have taken probably the war, and the archangels with Michael appeared on the battlefield, and many people reported it, and it changed the battle and stopped the Germans from winning.
I've heard that, and I'm the Angels of Mons or
something like that. Yeah. I can't remember which. But it was like, when I read that, I was like, wow.
Goosebumps City.
That is something. Yeah, definitely. But one asks, well, how did they choose sides? It's because evil doesn't belong to a specific culture, race, or anything else. Evil goes where weakness and poverty and despair live and dwell. We need to take care of our people, and we'll watch all those things sort of dry up. The police will be able to have a much nicer, more relaxed job.
God bless them. They deserve it. I've got about a minute and a half before you and I have to say so long, and I was just wondering, when somebody is ready to cross from this life to what lies after, are the angels there to guide them and to be with them?
Absolutely. There's Archangel Azrael. He is the Archangel of transition, and his angels are the angels that come when our souls are ready to transition out of this body and into the next one. I have been blessed to experience through past life regression a prior death and the life after death, and their love there is extremely strong. What I say to anybody who's close to passing, and even if you don't have a religious way to help you, the angels will help you. Ask them to bring you comfort, and ask for comfort to be brought to all those who will be mourning. Archangel Raphael can bring healing light. We call to the guardian angels and the connecting angels of everyone present to increase the energy and flow of love. And anybody who's getting ready to pass, tell them they are confused to go to the light. The light is the angels, and they will pull them through into the tunnel of love. There are those upon this earth who have chosen to walk in darkness and evil, lifetime after lifetime, and so the light will not be present for them when they expire this time unless they make a conscious choice. So we are asked to pray for them, and I think some of us can figure out who some of those people are. So
Carol?
We are asked to bring love to them, answer their hate with love.
Carol,
and then
we've run out of time for tonight. I do want to thank you ever so much for joining us. Always a great pleasure talking to you. And I truly look forward to the next time you're back here with us in the X Zone. Until then, my friend, take care of yourself.
You too. Thank you so much.
Good night now. And X Zone Nation, if you'd like to contact Carol for one-on-one angel intuitive readings that she does, we didn't have time to discuss them. Her website, once again, is www.inonement.com. That's www.inonement.com. I'll be back on the other side of this break as we continue here in the X Zone from our broadcast center in Hamilton, Ontario, Canada. Don't go away. Whether you're a skeptic or a believer, join me, Rob McConnell, as together we'll investigate the world of the paranormal and the science of parapsychology here on the X Zone Radio TV show on XZBN and the X Zone TV channel on Simul TV. Since 1990, the X Zone Radio TV show has been the place where people dare to believe and dare to be heard. Together, we'll investigate UFOs, aliens, ghosts, Bigfoot, psychic phenomenon, lake monsters, conspiracy theories, government cover-ups, the truth embargo, alien abductions, ESP, haunted locations from around the world, and so much more. With over 28 years of broadcasting and more than 4,500 individual guests, the X Zone is truly a place where fact is fiction and fiction is reality, as evidenced by the credibility, integrity, and professionalism of the guests that we bring to our international audience. If you have seen a UFO, had a close encounter, seen a ghost, Bigfoot, lake monster, or a story that you would like to share or have investigated, contact me, Rob McConnell, by sending me your email to xzone@xzoneradiotv.com, or you can call toll-free 1-800-610-7035, extension 143, and on Skype, X Zone Radio TV. For more information on the X Zone Radio TV show with yours truly, Rob McConnell, visit www.xzoneradiotv.com or www.xzonetvchannel.com or simultv.com and xzbn.net. Until next we meet here in the X Zone from our broadcast center and studios in Hamilton, Ontario, Canada, always remember, X Zone Nation, Keep your eyes to the sky and your heart in the light.
You have heard of the X Zone? Now watch it on Simul TV, plus 500 video games, live TV channels, free video on demand, worldwide, and more. Does this sound like tomorrow's television? Well, it is, but you can have it today, right now. It is Simul TV. Simul TV offers what the others only wish they could provide. 15 exclusive channels like X Zone, sci-fi, and horror. We are worldwide. No other provider offers that. 500 built-in video games. No need to have an extra expensive system. We have them included. Free video on demand. Live streaming events from around the world. Interactive online network, and much more. Tomorrow's TV today. Simul TV. Sound too good to be true? Well, it's not. You can have Simul TV today. Sign up at simultv.com. Do it today.